Good day, everyone. I'm Arvin Enriquez, your subject teacher in General Mathematics. With this video lesson, we're going to discuss solving real-life problems involving rational functions, equations, and inequalities under General Mathematics from Quarter 1, Module 10. Our lesson objectives. At the end of this video lesson, you are expected to first, solve real-life problems involving rational functions, equations, and inequalities. Second, carefully analyze and understand world problems before solving them. And last, create real-life word problems about rational functions, equations, and inequalities. So to be able to solve problems involving rational functions, equations, and inequalities, it is necessary to know the basics of algebra because these basics of algebra will serve as our foundation before dealing with these rational functions, equations, and inequality. We should know how to deal with these uh, basic concepts, no, in our in algebra. For example, factoring, special product, completing by square, and many more that we can apply, no, once we're asked to solve problems involving rational functions, equations, and inequalities. Again, it will serve as our foundation, no, before moving forward in solving problems like this. Solving rational equations and inequalities is very essential in solving world problems. Yes, it is, no? Most of the time we use the concept of your rational equations and inequality, no, in solving word problems. Real life problems like mixture, work, distance, number, and other related problems might interest you. So here, no, in a basic math, no, there is a lot of applications wherein we can use the concept of your rational equations and inequality. Most of the time, we can use it in ratio and proportion, no, work problems, mixtures, distance, number, and other related problems, no, which which is supposed to be, good and fit to our capability, no, in solving such problem. So if you are a fan of observing your speed while driving, yes, it is, for example, 60 kilometers per hour. So still there is an involvement of your rational function there. So I mean to say that the number of kilometers that you're going to be traveled, no, by you will be dependent on your speed. So next is estimating your time while walking. Analyzing your income while selling. So how much, for example, if you sell something, what will be your profit now? So how much, no? Determining price increases and decreases. So from time to time, uh, prices of goods, for example, construction materials, foods, clothes, no? From time to time, it will increase or decrease. It depends on the demands and supply of these type of goods that we are dealing with. Next, identifying rational relationships, and solving real life problems. No, with this concept, no, with these modules, we can identify rational relationships and solving real life problems. Then this module is definitely for you to enjoy. So let's deal now with this example number one. So before moving forward with this example, let's try to recall what is your rational function, rational equation, and rational inequality. So these three pertains to a rational, no, wherein there is an involvement of your polynomials. So it can be a ratio of polynomials, or it can be a single polynomial or a fraction between your two polynomials. But in dealing with this, for us to, for example, in this problem, we're asked to find the function, no, that will represent, for example, the amount of money or the cash, no, that is being involved for this problem. So when you say rational function, no, wherein it is a function that there is an involvement of your two polynomials, your numerator and denominator, so it's a ratio, no, between your two polynomials, then we really need to make sure that your denominator is not equal to 0 once we put a value on it. That's why we're looking for a values, no, possible values of your x variable that we can put on your denominator, which can provide you a value of your denominator not equal to 0. So for this problem, we're asked to find a function. So Bamban National High School is preparing, no, for its 25th founding anniversary. So here there is nothing to do with your 25th 25 here. That's a 25th founding anniversary only. So our concern now is the other givens, no? Given values, I mean. So the chairperson of the activity allocated is 90,000 pesos. So there is an allocation of 90,000 pesos from different stakeholders. So who are these? No, when we say stakeholders, these are parents. No, these are parents, teachers outside the community, the school from other school. I mean, no, business partners, uh, LGUs, and other non-government organizations. These are stakeholders. No, when we say these 90,000 pesos is from them, which is to be divided, no, among various committees of the celebration. Because once we celebrate for something, no, there is a committee for this, for example, for transportation, for food, for the program, for the awarding of certificates, for example, no. So there is a committee here being involved in this uh, problem. So we're asked to construct now a function C of n, which would give the amount of money each of the n, which represent the numbers of committees, would receive. Because we really want to distribute this allocation, which is 90,000 pesos, equally, no, for all the committees being involved, no, in this celebration of the 25th founding anniversary of Bamban National High School. So if there are six committees, no, there are six committees involved, how much would each committee have? So the question now, how much these committees will receive? So we're going to look for a function that will represent to the cash or amount of money that each of these committee will receive from the allocation, which is 90,000 pesos. So your solution now, the function C of n is equal to 90,000 over n, where n is the numbers of committees, would give the amount of money each of the n numbers of committees, since the allocated budget is 90,000 pesos. And it will be divided equally. That is our main goal now. The funds will be distributed or divided equally for all the committees involved. That's why our main goal now, it will be divided equally to the n number of committees. So what will be now the value for n? In your given problem, it was being mentioned, no, that there are six committees, no, being involved to this one. That's why we really need to put n, I mean 6, no, as a value of your n. So if there are six committees, then you need to solve for C of 6, thus. So we just simply substitute 6, no, to your n as a replacement of n, which represent the number of committees. Your 6 of C of 6 here is now equal to 90,000 over 6, or simply it is equal to 15,000 pesos. So therefore, each committee will receive 15,000 pesos. So our final answer now, no, is 15,000 pesos. But again, no, that is the amount of money that each of this committee will receive based on the function that we formulate, no, which is C of n is equal to 90,000 over n, and n is the number of committees. So for example number 2, Barangay Masaya allocated a budget amounting to 100,000 pesos to provide relief goods for each family in the barangay due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So the amount, is to be allotted equally or to be distributed equally, among all the families in the barangay. So at the same time, a philanthropist, wants to supplement this budget, and he allotted an additional 500 pesos to be received by each family. Now, write a function, It's not an equation, but it is a function, Because there is an involvement of two variables here. So we're asked to find or write a function representing the relationship of the allotted amount per family, which is your y variable, versus the total number of families, which is your x variable. So how much will the amount of each relief packs if there are 200 families in the barangay? So we really need to make sure that these 100,000 pesos allotted for these families, will be distributed equally to them. So our main goal now is to look for a function that will represent uh, the distribution of this 100,000 pesos plus the additional amount uh, from a philanthropist, which is 500 pesos, for each of the family in the barangay Masarea. Now for the solution, so the amount to be received by each family is equal to allotted budget, which is sure 100,000 pesos, divided by the number of families plus the amount to be given by the philanthropist. Because each of the family will receive 500 pesos from the philanthropist. So thus, the rational function is described as y. So y is the amount, no? Is the amount of money that each of the family will receive. 100,000 is the allocated budget from the barangay, and X is the total number of families in Barangay Masaya, plus 500 pesos from the philanthropies. So the amount of each relief packs can be computed by finding the value of Y when X is 200 families, because X will represent the total number of families in Barangay Masaya. So since there are 200 families, no, in barangay, thus your Y now, we just simply substitute 200 pesos, no, as a value of your X variable. So your Y now is equal to 100,000 pesos over 200, or we just simply divide 100,000 pesos by 200 families plus 500 pesos, because each of the family will receive 500 pesos from a philanthropist. So the resulting value is 1,000 pesos, meaning to say that each of the family being involved in this barangay Masaya will receive a relief fax, or an amount of money, no, which is equal to 1,000 pesos. So therefore, the amount of each relief packs to be distributed to each family is worth 1,000 pesos. So for the activity in this module, so a garden flat, so it's entitled a garden plot, so we're asked to know. So let's read the problem first. So Vincent is a farmer. He loves to plant vegetables. He found that the area of his rectangular garden is 200 square meters. So let X represent the width of his garden in meters and express the length of the garden L as a function of width of X. So you're looking for a value of length, no, in terms of X or in terms of your width. So simply, this is a function, no, that will represent your length in terms of your width. So we're asked to complete, no, complete the following to solve the problem. First, the formula in finding the area of a rectangle is, you need to go back with the concept of area in your geometry, no. Then for now, letter B, given an area of A and width of X, the formula in finding the length of L or L of a rectangle is what? So that will be your second task now. What will be the formula of an area and width of X? No? And the formula in finding the length, no, of a rectangle. So for letter C, or your last task now, is using the formula, no? We may express the length of the garden L as a function of width as. So what will be the function now that will represent the length of this rectangular area with respect to your width, which is your X? No, in solving this kind of no, situations, no, or scenario, no. So you need to read first the problem, then next thing is to analyze, then your know what are the given values, the known and unknown uh, variables, then try to go with the basic, basic concept of your algebra for us to formulate formula, for us to simplify, or if a complicated, equation, functions, for example, no, then solve for the unknown values. So that's how we solve word problems in mathematics. First thing to do again, no, is to read, analyze. The next thing to do is to list down all the given values and know, no, and look for the known and unknown variables. Then solve for the unknown variables. Then check if your answer is or are correct, no. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Plus, subscribe.